Emotional patterns. Your emotional patterns can be as damaging to your overall welfare as your mindset. Your mindset, together with your emotional patterns, are your creative tools. These together create the necessary outlines for future possessions, events, and circumstances. These creative tools work in your life whether you intend them to or not. It is far more difficult to discover your deep-seated emotional attitudes, either conscious or subconscious, than to recognize your mental conditioning. People can be possessed by negative emotional patterns and be quite unaware of them, since they are covered by the moment-to-moment emotions arising from the daily routine. To discover what your emotional patterns are, ask yourself questions along the following lines and be totally honest with yourself. To try to hide from the truth of your emotional patterns is merely to deceive yourself and hold yourself back from achieving the joyous state of existence you were intended to enjoy. How do you feel about life? I want you to write yourself a warmly compassionate letter, telling yourself exactly how you feel as you answer the following questions. Are you happy to be alive? Or would you prefer to be able to cease to live? If your truthful answer is the latter, then you have a negative attitude towards existence and are at war within yourself at a deep level. You know, consciously, that you have to continue your daily life, but at your deepest level, you would like to quit. The interior war prevents you from attracting all that you could be experiencing with a positive emotional pattern. How do you really feel about your relatives? Is there any buried hostility which you do not want to admit or that you did not realize existed? How do you feel about your employment, colleagues, entertainment, other races, etc.? Write down all your discoveries about yourself and lock it away in a safe place. This work you have done for yourself is for yourself, only for your benefit. You have not done it to make you a better person, or to please God, or to win approval from other people. You have done this work to remove existing inner blocks to your spiritual development and ultimate happiness. If you decide to change your life by reading these letters daily, I urge you to put your dated letter in a safe place. Reread it in a year's time and rejoice in the great changes which you will see have taken place in your mindset. You will also see that there have been changes in your circumstances. Remember that prayer and meditation focused entirely on your Creator will bring you new strength and insight, which, in turn, will bring changes to your feelings and environment. When praying, never focus on your problems. Always ask for the right remedy. Let the Creator bring you the right solutions, which your human mind is incapable of thinking up. For instance, never tell your creative Father how ill you are. Concentrate on the power you are receiving immediately into your condition, although your consciousness may be too densely human to feel it. And give thanks for your swift recovery and believe in it. When you give thanks, you are accepting, acknowledging, believing, impressing in your own consciousness the realization that your prayer now lies within the Father love consciousness and is being processed for visible manifestation in due course at the right time. When in Palestine, I constantly gave thanks for the work before it was accomplished. Never pray and then go out of your room and tell people how ill you feel or how terrible the personal or national situation is. If you have asked the Father Creator to solve your problems, finances, or poor health, what an insult to the Father Creator to continue to bring up past negative conditions. You immediately undo the work the Father Creator has engaged in. If, in your mind, after prayer, the old conditions have not become past negative conditions, then return to prayer until you can dismiss them from your mind and really believe that all is being divinely taken care of right that minute. Return again and again to giving thanks for the benefits you have asked for. They will surely materialize. There are many thousands of people in your world today consistently relying on the Universal Father Creator to fulfill their every need and witnessing to the manifold blessings in their lives. Abandon fears. They have availed you nothing. Now, turn to the Universal Father Creator as the source of your being, conception, growth, development, nutrition, regeneration, healing, fulfillment of your every need, protection, all within a system of spiritual law and order. Realize that all this wonderful work is constructive, purposeful, orderly. You truly have a master mind behind you, your family and living conditions. Trust it. Do not allow your thinking to spoil the divine creative operation. Remember, above all, that I, the Christ, only performed my so-called miracles because I realized that the kingdom of God was within me and that I could always rely on my Creator Father to do the work in and through me. Remember that you only have an individual consciousness because you have drawn it from the Creative Father consciousness. When your personal consciousness is fully cleansed of negativity, you will discover that you, too, have become a purified channel of Creative Father consciousness. You will also be a joyous source of growth, nutrition, healing, nurturing, protection, fulfillment of need within a system of good organizational law and order to all who come within your orbit. This powerful influence will be extended through your mind to your families, friends, neighbors, farmlands, and your animals and crops. Even as electricity passed through your hands will light a Bunsen burner in a laboratory, so will your life force radiations benefit all who come within your radius of influence. This was the intention behind creation. You were intended to express universal creative consciousness through your mind and heart. I, the Christ, have come at this time to show you how to do this. First of all, consider my state of consciousness when I performed many so-called miracles. I did not pray a set prayer. I simply asked the Creative Father, radiating through my own consciousness, for whatever was needed. I strongly realized and visualized the Father Creative Consciousness was a dynamic operating force which manifested itself through the visible world as creativity, intelligent design, growth, nutrition and nourishment, protection, healing, regeneration, fulfillment of every need, all within a system of law and order. I realized that the creative Father consciousness would radiate all its nature through my consciousness to enter the consciousness of those who had asked for healing and sincerely believed they would receive it. I also knew that if they did not have faith and expectancy of healing, this type of negative consciousness would not be influenced by the inflow of the nature of Father consciousness, and no healing would take place. I also realized that the healing work done by the creative Father consciousness was really love made visible on earth. I also realized that all the work done by the creative Father consciousness within the visible world was love made manifest and gave thanks. I realized that out of universal consciousness had come all the substance of the universe and gave thanks. I realized that Father creative consciousness was the worker and that it was eternal and infinite, and nothing except the human mind could stop it from doing its work. Therefore, I rid my mind of any human feelings and thoughts, and I knew that I was a perfect channel of Father love, and knew that the perfect will of Father love would be accomplished in the person who needed healing. But note this, I also knew that whatever in that person's consciousness had brought about this crippled or maimed or diseased condition had been erased in his body for the time being. The question was, would his normal consciousness bring about a return of the condition divinely erased from his body? Therefore, I said to the person who had received healing, "Go your way and sin no more." I want you to know and believe with all your hearts that my state of consciousness when on earth, described to you in the above paragraphs, is the state of consciousness to which you should also aspire with all your mind and heart. My experiences of enlightenment in the desert enabled me to achieve the Christ consciousness to a large extent whilst on earth. But you can follow in my steps if you have the will to do so, and I will surely be at hand to help you on your journey. You may feel my presence if you are sufficiently sensitive to do so, but if for some time you feel nothing, do not be cast down, because as you do the work of changing your consciousness, you can be absolutely certain you will be tuning into my Christ consciousness, and I will be aware of all that is happening to you. Know that your purpose on earth is to ascend in spiritual consciousness until you transcend all the humanhood which presently holds you back, until, eventually, you, too, can control the elements and become a master. Realize, too, that when world consciousness is fully attuned to Father creative consciousness, all things inimical to the perfect well-being of man will disappear. There will be no more malaria-bearing mosquitoes, locusts to strip your crops, severe climatic conditions, infections, viruses, and everything else which presently cause problems for living things. You will live within a cloak of universal protection. When your own consciousness is perfectly attuned to and in harmony with Father love, then you too will be divinely protected and will become channels of creative design, growth, nutrition and nourishment, protection, healing, regeneration, fulfillment of need, law, and order. Father love will be operational within your mind, heart, body, and your affairs. It will be operational in all those to whom you direct its power.